lengthy absence from the home fixtures. We're back here at the Deeside Dragons, ready to crown them, of course, the Laidler Conference champions. This is the return, triumphant return of the Dragons, shall we say. They went to Widnes a few weeks back. They had the decider game against Widnes, and what can we say? What an incredible game of hockey that was.
It certainly was. I mean, you got to take into consideration here, David, how vital that was, and the rivalry and such like. But the thing is, though, let's not all that. What we've got to remember is all the teams that we've had all the season on Drop the Puck that have come here, that we've gone, this looks like on paper like an easy walkover. That's not the case. And again, we've got one of those teams here tonight.
It's what we saw on the last episode. We dropped the puck with Hull. What a fantastic game that turned into. And let's not forget as well, the Bradford Bulldogs, they're one of the teams that have taken a few points off the Dragons this year. There have been 4 teams that have drawn with the Dragons. Nobody's beat them yet, but this is one of them. Well, admittedly, we're going back to October.
Well, yeah, admittedly, yeah. If you look at the tables, you can see this is a top against a bottom clash. Right now, you've got the Dragons sitting right on the top. It's all done and dusted for them. But poor Bradford sitting on the bottom. Bradford have only had 3 wins, 2 ties and 18 losses. Now, considering some of the games they've been giving the likes of the Dragons and other teams, and they've taken them close, you've got to remember that this team have actually got potential to do something. It's just been one of them seasons and one of those divisions where teams nick games opportunity.
But we did speak to Coach Paul before the game, and the game plan for the Dragons is going to be what you might expect going into the playoffs. They might have won the league, but they're not taking the foot off the gas. They're in playoff mode now. Playoffs are coming up at the start of April, and they're getting ready for those games.
Of course, the playoffs, it's a big payday for the Dragons, for any team that makes it really. But what you've got to remember is, you don't want to be taking any silly little injuries today. You can't afford to lose players, especially vital players, going into such a tournament. And obviously we've got one more game left that we're going to see on Drop the Puck, which will be that all-important Widnes rivalry. And I tell you what, folks, that's one game you don't want to miss.
Don't miss that one.
But this weekend and the next game, they can't afford to lose anybody. They need to be going into that playoff fresh, right frame of mind. Tonight's a good start for that. They've got 2 games to build themselves up for a battle royal down at the playoffs.
Bradford Bulldogs, they are a physical team. That is the kind of thing we expect to see from them. It's what we've always seen here. They're going to be taking it to the body tonight. As we know, Dragons, they're not going to let up. It's going to be a fast, physical game. Don't go away. We've got all the action coming up. Gary?
I think it's time to drop the puck.
And so with the ice cleared, the mascot's gone. It's time to get ready to drop the puck. Playing in the white shirts, Deeside Dragons, in black, the Bradford Bulldogs. And here we go, start of the game.
I'm expecting a lot from this one, Dave.
Bradford miscue there in the Dragons' end.
That's the first bit I was expecting.
As the Dragons take possession, it's picked away. That's Corey Stones who picked that away in a blue helmet there for Bradford. Corey Stones, their top goal scorer, 7 goals, 12 assists. But of course, what we do know, Gary, is the top 5 in this league, dominated by Deeside and Widnes.
Yeah, well, it's nice to be able to say that at this point in the season. Obviously, there's only a couple of games left, but take nothing away from the likes of Bradford and the other teams that have come here to battle. They've come with a game plan and they've stuck to it. It's whether or not they can do damage limitations against a very, very fiery Dragons squad.
As Furnival plays it up front, or tries to anyway, it's picked away. Barlow dumps it behind the net. And Matt Wainwright tries to play it back out. Again, turned around by Bradford, doing a good job of poking the puck away. Dragons win the face-off. Palak manages to clear it. Lovell was chasing him down Bradford and had to give the puck away there. Bryn Roberts gets it up front. Couldn't keep it on the stick of Mark Lovell though. It's turned around. There was a pile up along the boards. Palak with that great puck control, even though he was knocked off his feet, managed to keep control of the puck and take a shot. With a nice pass up front to Bradford, and similar game plan perhaps to what we saw with Hull, which is keep a forward back, try and get that long pass to them and get out in front of the net.
Well, they're doing the same thing that a lot of teams have cottoned on to later on in the season, and that says crowding out Palak.
We see that again there. They're on top of him as he goes around the back of the net, looking for a guy up front. Couldn't get it to Parry. Cleared by Andrew Brown. Mark Lovell plays it in. Around the back of the net. Tried to drop it back. Wainwright couldn't keep that in, and it's knocked down into the Dragons' end. Stones chasing Austin down. Philip Super, another man who's up there. He's number 4 with 38 points so far this season as Parsons takes a shot. Goaltender keeps hold of that. That's Bowater in for Bradford. Parsons gets it to Austin, takes a shot straight off the face-off. Super keeps it on, keeps it in around the back. Loose in front of the net, and it's in. James Parsons. Stationed right in front of the blue paint there. 2 Bradford defenders back. Screened the goaltender. Parsons manages to get it clear.
Must say completely against the run of play.
Josh Richardson played it round the boards, held in by the Dragons. Furnival couldn't keep control of that puck there, almost had a shot. He's going to play it around the back of the net. It's picked away. Dumped down the ice. And a shot from Corey Stones, who's all over the puck so far this game. Boothroyd gets it up front. Nice pass. Shot. Ryan Kemp took the shot there, and could have done with skating that in a little deeper, I think, Gary.
I think his stick clipped the ice before he hit that, because it didn't seem to go in with much power at all.
Bradford getting some nice opportunities, but they seem to be taking their shots as soon as they find them, rather than skating them in and trying to get a bit closer to the net.
I think they're just pot luck shots, really. They're just hoping something will bounce off it. But like we've said with every team that comes in, as long as somebody's following up and you can pick them up, get these shots.
Lovell shot was off the pad of the netminder. And now Steve Fellows forced back as Palak and Parry again jump on that puck, but it's taken away by Dakers. Through centre ice, skates it in, loses a few Dragons along the way, but forced back. Puck was lost, but Richardson jumps on that. Parry and Lovell. Shot, and it's in. A goal for Mark Lovell. Super Parry and Lovell teaming up to take another swing at the Bradford Bulldogs. It's 2-0 Deeside Dragons.
Well, that's what we've expected, really. Lovell's not going to miss when he gets an opportunity like that.
We'll see how they respond at the start of the next period. Don't go away, we'll be right back with the second period here on Drop the Puck. Welcome back to Drop the Puck. It's the start of the second period. And if you've just joined us, it's Deeside Dragons 2, Bradford Bulldogs 0. Fast tempo game though, Gary.
Yeah, very much so. And I'm hoping that Bradford can keep that tempo up. Because what we don't want it to do is become a very, very dull, boring game.
Bradford, they've managed to keep the puck in the early going. Some good opportunities up front, especially from Corey Stones.
Oh, here we go.
But as I say that, Deeside Dragons managed to get off on the board early. That's Simon Furnival. Gets the third goal for Deeside.
So is this the start of the route maybe that Lowell Paul was talking about inflicting?
I think this may be the start of a Deeside Dragons with the gloves off for the second period. So Palak puts Simon Furnival on the board in the opening 30 seconds of the second period. And the Dragons, as we said at the start of the game, they've come here today to play. This isn't the Dragons with the foot off the gas, waiting for that witness game to end the season on. They're not holding back, waiting for the playoffs. This is the start of the Division 1 Deeside Dragons coming in here and playing the way they expect to carry on playing hockey.
Well, I hope it's a little better than it was in that first period, because Division 1, that certainly wasn't, mate. I've seen the Dragons play a lot better this season, but saying that, Bradford have come here to make a game of this today. Oh!
Puck out front, Corey Stones.
Oh, an opportunity missed there.
But it's as we said in the first period, they're going to need to get traffic in front of that net, and they did. And again, James Royds. You've got Kemp stationed on the blue line, the blue paint, sorry. Now Bradford starting to smell blood. They're trying to play that back in. It's knocked back down into the Dragons' end, and Parsons plays that out front. Gavin Austin behind his own net. Furnival tried to pick it up on the boards, but Bradford turned it round. Austin up front to Parsons. Parsons is clear. Shot! That's stopped and turned away by Andrew Brown. Bradford lose the puck to Austin. Parsons going for another piece. Shot! And it's a goal! James Parsons on the board, second goal of the night for him. And it's Dragons 4, Bradford 0.
Nice to see Parsons getting on the goal sheet. He was missed when he was out for a while with that facial damage, shall we say, from an earlier game in the season. But he's looking good, he's back to full form, just in time for the playoffs.
Shot from Bradford, number 76, Miles Dakers. And it was Philip Super who gave Parsons the assist there. Parsons had two good shots on net, managed to convert on the second. Dakers held up by Stephen Fellows, who announced earlier this week on Facebook that this would be his last season with the Deeside Dragons.
No, that's going to be a sad day, that. A happy day for his wife, I think. She gets her husband back.
Steve Fellows, who was part of the championship winning team 23 years ago and now part of this championship team. He's going to be taking a step back from hockey here at Deeside as number 70, Stefan Pristas, finally gets Bradford onto the boards. Nice goal there.
And it was pretty much what we've been saying. They've been firing just by the blue line there.
Gavin Austin dumps it into the corner. And it's up front, Dakers racing against Austin. Couldn't reach it. Loose out front.
Oh, unlucky.
Dakers and Pristas line again combining for some real pressure on the Dragons. As Richardson clears it out of the Bradford zone. Dragons force back. Corey Stones almost has it. As Parsons takes another shot. And now here we go, down the other way, Pristas. And Daker's shot. Back of the net. Pristas needs to get it out front. But the Dragons jump on it. Philip Super turns it round.
And it's the speed of Super and Palaki.
Loose out front. Parsons.
Oh dear.
Nice attempt.
And that's what catches teams out, the speed of these players like Super and Palak. Like I said, you can't allow them that extra yard because they'll just get away from you.
Dragons trying to keep up the pressure. Roberts at the back of the net. Tries to bring it out front and clear it. But the defenders keeping the forwards at bay. Mike Jones, shot. That was stopped by Baldwin off his stick. Round the back of the net is Parsons. Gets it out front to Furnival. Collision on the board. Furnival slow to get up. Get it out front to Wainwright, who takes a shot. That's over the boards. Wainwright stops it at centre ice. Parsons skates it in. Super with a high shot, and it was loose in front of the net there, but Furnival couldn't reach it in time. Bradford now looking to clear. They're getting into the corner. Super gets it to Austin. Now Dragons set up a box. Around the back of the net, trying to get out front to Austin. Shot.
We're seeing the pressure changing a little bit here. It's now Deeside putting it on. But Bradford are just sitting back, protecting it.
Deeside's game plan there, very clear as Corey Stones turns it around the other way. He's got the support of Pristas and Dakers. Great line for Bradford. Pristas, he's got it out front. Couldn't quite get to Stones.
Yeah, run, referee, run.
Gary Dixon. And now the Dragons again playing a little keep away as the minutes tick away towards the end of this second period. Mike Jones around the boards. Chappell skates it in, drops it to Davis. Tried to get it to Chappell instead of taking the shot. We got Kenny Williams on the ice. Stones takes a shot. It was held up in Mike Jones's stick. We've entered the last minute of the second period, Gary. And it's been a fast game.
It has, and if you look at it as it currently stands with the seconds ticking away, 2-1 this period, and that's not bad. Bradford got something to take away from this.
Bradford just need to dump more on that net going into the third period, get a little bit more traffic out front, frustrate the netminder. You
can see why they drew 5-5 last time with the Dragons.
Yep. And that Stones, Pristas and Dacres line is going to be key to their third period.
Let's see if they can maintain it and not fall asleep.
Time ticking away as Boothroyd gets one last chance. Their captain is held away by Jake Orr. And the Dragons hold the Bradford Bulldogs to only one goal as we enter the second period break. But don't go away. We'll be right back shortly with the start of the third period. It's Dragons 4, Bulldogs 1. Welcome back to Drop the Puck. And this is the start of the third and final period here tonight. If you've just joined us, Deeside Dragons currently up 4-1. Bradford Bulldogs got back into this game in the second period, Gary.
Yeah, they certainly did. I mean, the first 4 minutes of the first period, they looked quite promising. And then that second period, I'd say the score didn't reflect how well Bradford played.
Yeah, it was a 2-1 period, the second period. Strong showing from the front line for Bradford Bulldogs. That's Stefan Pristas, Miles Dacres and Corey Stones, who are on the ice currently. As the Dragons look to strengthen their lead, and they do just that. Adrian Palak gets a goal courtesy of Parry. And just like they did at the start of the second period, a goal in the opening minute.
Well, I was wondering how long it would be before Palak appeared on the score sheet.
Parsons brought down hard there along the boards. And as we said, Adrian Palak finally on the boards here tonight. He's been shut down most of the game by the Bradford D. Fed the puck by Parry a number of times. Couldn't get past. There he goes for looking for a second.
Well, we said earlier about the fact that it's effective how teams crowd Palak out. But like we also said, it does leave other players available, and the Dragons have that depth of power scoring.
Shot from Furnival. Puck loose out front. Bradford looking to break out. Tried to get it up front to James Royds. And a shot. Nice attempt there from Bradford. That was Jason Devaney who managed to get a piece of that. Lovell out front though, shot and it's in! Goal up top for Mark Lovell. And Deeside Dragons have now taken a commanding lead in this game.
That's Lovell's second of the night.
Puck back in the Dragons' end. Super tries to clear. Held in by Bradford though.
You got to hand it to Bradford. They don't look like they're going to give up.
No, Bradford are keeping up the pressure. They're getting some nice opportunities and they know how to take the puck away from Deeside.
And you'd think it's 6-1 down.
Heads might drop. As Bradford managed to clear that. Fellows at centre ice, tries to turn it round, waits for the Dragons to get back on side. Bradford trying to clear it out of that corner. Managed to, but it ends up on the stick of Fellows, who dumps it in as the Dragons look to get back on side.
That was a ricochet off Roberts.
Turned it round. Chappell skates it in, gets it across to Dixon.
Oh dear.
And now Bradford in alone, shot.
Well saved.
Nice save there and a great attempt by Ryan Kemp. The Dragons play a lot of keep-aways. They're waiting for that line change, but it's turned around by Pristas. Stefan Pristas held up whilst looking for Kemp or Stones out front. Stones loses it in his skates. Tried to get it to Kemp.
Oh, here we
and
go.
Now Corey Stones. And who's that? Is that Ross Kennedy?
Possibly, yeah. Yep.
Both men are going to go for it. This is unusual. I don't think I've seen Ross Kennedy in a fight before. Skating to centre ice for dramatic effect, of course, Gary.
Well, good punch by Kennedy there. And another one. Stones. Oh, and a third by Kennedy. He's getting him in. Stones is not. Oh, he's overpowered him now. But regardless of Stones getting the better there at the end, Kennedy got 3 good clear punches in. I think that's 1-0 to Kennedy.
I think Corey Stones thought he was taking on Conor McGregor there. And a hearty handshake to end the fight.
I can't stand that. Oh, grinds my gears. I'll have to speak to James about this.
You can hear this on a future View from Left Field on BASN Radio. So, Palak skates it in.
Oh
and it's a
my
goal.
goodness! And that is the Adrian Palak we love and know well.
Right through the legs of Nicole Jackson. You couldn't see Adrian Palak. Burst of speed. Coincidental minor penalties or not, Adrian Palak still. Super. The Dragons under pressure in their own zone. Drop it back and break out again. There goes Super, and it's a goal. Philip Super on the board late in the game. Makes it 8-1 Deeside. So that was a Philip Super goal, courtesy of Matty Wainwright, as Dakers skates it in, shot. He's frustrated with himself there. We've entered the final 4 minutes of this game, and Nicole Jackson going to hold on to the puck. Stone's down in the Dragons' end. He's back out the penalty box after that fight with Ross Kennedy. Takes a shot, almost gets through the legs of Matt Compton. And we have a Dragons player down. Is that Mike Jones? So the Dragons 8-1 up with just over 3 minutes remaining in the game. Palak takes another shot and makes it 9-1. The Dragons now doing what the Dragons do best, racking up the score late in the game. With seconds left in the game. One last shot for Dakers, as the Dragons look to shut this game down.
Well, hats off to Bradford, who kept the pressure up all the way through this game. Never gave up, regardless of the score. They should be proud of themselves.
It's the end of the game. Deeside Dragons 9, Bradford Bulldogs 1. Join us shortly when we'll have all the player interviews and analysis. Don't go away.
Dave Clancy, goalkeeping coach. We're so used to seeing you on the ice for Deeside in the past. What's it like being on the other side, on the coaching side this season?
This season it's been tough not being able to play myself. I have been finding it difficult, but there comes a time in your life when you realise your injuries are a bit too much, or you're either not as good as you think you are mentally stopping a puck.
And how's that been for you personally? Has it developed you in the coaching sense this year, coaching Matty and George?
Yeah, hugely. I mean, taking on the coaching role has totally changed my perception of hockey, and you see the other side of how much stress the coach is under and so on and so forth. And working with the kids and the guys like Matty and George has really gone well this year. I mean, we've been working on some strong stuff, rebound control and that, and it's gone really well.
I've noticed in the dressing room as well, you tend to have some wise words for the whole squad. Do you think your experiences come into the fore this year?
I don't know whether they're wise words. There might be some form of words, but yeah, I mean, some of the lads take it on board. Some of the stuff I say, it's only from the experience I've had that I can come up and make suggestions and things like that. And it's being off the ice where you can see more of the play. But when you're in goal, you get to see a lot of the play and a lot of what goes on and so on and so forth with regards to a game. So.
And to say you're coach of the champions, tell me about that.
Assistant coach, helping out, goalie coach, champions of the Dragons. It's phenomenal. Dream come true to bring it back to the club. For years and years, what is it, 23 years, something like that? To try and bring a trophy back, and it's just fabulous. Really made up.
Dave, it's lovely to speak to you as a coach. Good luck at the playoffs, and we'll hopefully speak to you then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matty Compton, netminder, Deeside Dragons. Matty, quite an interesting game for you tonight. A lot of good saves there.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, we didn't they outworked us a bit in definitely the second period, and they surprised us a little bit as well. So we got a bit sloppy running around the second period, so we had a bit more work than normal. You think against the second back with the league, but you could just say maybe they've improved from the start of the season, which I think they have.
Do you think the squad rotation that Lol's done with you and George at the end, particularly towards the end of the season, has helped you retain your focus?
I don't think so. I think goalies need to play every week, really. I understand, if he wants to rotate us, but personally, I like to play every week. But it's worked so far, so we'll see how we go on and win this next week and into the playoffs, see what happens.
And as a senior member of the team, what's it been like to lead such a quality team this season?
Oh, it's been great. We've got quite a few years, coming close, and it's great. Finally, just great to win the league and do it with a few games left as well. So it's been great.
And what are you looking forward to for the playoffs this season?
I think we've got to get through that Saturday game and concentrate on that, and then whatever happens on Sunday happens on Sunday. But we've got to concentrate on that Saturday game rather than thinking about who we're going to play on the Sunday, and then see what happens then. But I think out of the all four teams, it could be any two on the Sunday in the final. So we can't take anywhere. We put Blackburn, they turned over Widnes. They could easily do that to us if we play them on the Saturday, or we play Nottingham, whoever.
And finally, Matty, what's it like to be the conference champion this year?
It's been great. Like I said, it's been quite a few years coming close. I was here, 10 or 12 years ago when we won it at the Freeze. It was great, and it's again, it's great. And then it means even more now because we're getting promoted as well, going to the A League or whatever it is. And it'd be great to go up there and test ourselves against the Whitleys, Billinghams, Blackburns as well.
Matty, great result tonight. Thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you. Thanks.
Lol, before we talk about the game tonight, let's go back to that game at Widnes a few weeks back, 7-7.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game. I mean, fantastic for the fans. It's a shame it was 7-7 because we were a little bit undisciplined on the night. I mean, they scored, I think, 6 out of 7 goals with power play goals, and we let ourselves down with discipline. On open play, we were the better team, I think, but they've got a very good power play. Give full credit to Scott McKenzie for that, and we let ourselves down with too many penalties. We can't let that happen when we play them in 2 weeks.
Since then, you've had a double header against Bradford, a team that have got a strong youth development this season. How do you think those 2 games have fared you?
Well, I've just been speaking to the coach tonight. They've got kids in cages, fantastic. They've skated with our most experienced players. So full credit to the junior development system. They've been around for a long time. They've been developing kids for a long time. So they're getting it right somewhere.
And using these games and looking forward to the playoffs, do you think this was a critical point to have a look at your squad to see where they stand for those games in Sheffield?
Well, it was all about getting ready for the playoffs tonight. We had to be a little bit more aggressive tonight, a little bit more clinical with our shooting, more physical definitely, and moving the puck up a lot quicker than we normally do. We've got to get into that tempo and that mindset of playoff hockey.
Before that, you've got a game here at the Den against Widnes where you'll be crowned champions of the conference this year. How does that feel as the coach?
Well, it feels fantastic. I've done my job for the year. Bringing the cup to Deeside, it's an honour, and the lads deserve all the credit they get. And yeah, I'm sure Widnes won't want to be here when we get the cup, but unfortunately, they're the last game of the season, and we're going to get the cup.
We spoke to your goalie coach Dave Clancy before, and we've spoken to you about the squad. How has Dave Clancy's role been an asset to Deeside this year?
Well, I know nothing about goaltending. I played hockey for a long time, and I can coach the players. With all the breakouts, the transitions, everything like that. I know nothing about goal. I don't confess to. So Dave coming on board has really brought the goalies on and out the goalies. So it's fundamental that you have a goalie coach.
Looking forward to those playoffs in Sheffield in a few weeks' time. How do you see those games going?
I think I don't know who's going to make fourth place yet. First play fourth and second play third. I think it's probably going to be Blackburn. It could be Altrincham. I don't know. I haven't been really following the scores on that. But if we play either, I'm hoping that we can defeat them like we have this season. And I don't know who we'll be playing. I think Nottingham are capable of beating Widnes if Nottingham bring the full team. You know, so that's a 50-50 game. I think Widnes can probably clinch it on big ice, but we'll have to see. Our priority is getting ready for that and playing whoever finishes fourth.
Lol, we'll speak to you in a couple of weeks' time at the Widnes game. Congratulations on the league, and we'll look forward to seeing the presentation.
Thanks very much, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The end of another decisive game here at Deeside, and a step closer to lifting the trophy.
Well, of course, 9-1. It's kind of what we expected at the end of the day. It's a shame, really. The score doesn't reflect the game, though, because Bradford came here with a bit of a game plan, and they stuck to it right to the end, never gave up. If things had gone their way a little more in the second period, I think we would have seen a different result.
Yeah, I think Bradford came in with a solid game plan. Really good forward lines there. They didn't come in to rough the Dragons up like we thought the game plan may have been. It was a good, solid game of hockey. Nice and fast. Referees let the game flow. Can't really argue with it. And I thought Bradford, they had a solid game there. The youth development is coming along nicely. They've done a really good job with the youth.
Yeah, you've got to praise Bradford, because I mean, I know there's a few teams in this division that have done well with their youth programs and that. And it does pay dividends because grassroots is important, especially with this kind of level of ice hockey. But of course, next year, Deeside will be looking at the next level.
That's right. And of course, before we get to next year, we've got the big decider. Well, I say decider. The big conclusion to the Drop the Puck season and the Dragons season coming up in 2 weeks' time. Don't miss it. Make sure you're down here for the game, and we're going to have it here on Drop the Puck as well. Deeside Dragons, Widnes Wild, the last match between the two of them in the Laidler Conference, as the Laidler Conference champions look to vanquish their long-standing Northwest rivals before they move up into the top division.
It's a bit of bragging rights, really. I think it's a case of, it's been quite close all season, well, since the introduction of Widnes to this division. It's always been quite close, quite tentative, and of course Deeside have walked away with the title this year. But I don't think Widnes are going to lie down. I think they'll be coming here to prove a point.
Of course, a few weeks back, when the Dragons won the league, it was a 7-7 draw against Widnes that won the league for them. Just 1 point was all they needed, and they got that. Can they take home the final 2 points, bragging rights against Widnes Wild, just before they lift that trophy on the ice? We'll find out. Make sure you're here, you're seeing all that action. Come down to the rink and see it. Support the team, support all the local teams in your area. And don't forget, you can find all the latest news and fixtures on BASN Radio on Facebook and Twitter. But until next week,
I've been Gary Lee.
I'm Dave Grivis. We'll see you next time.